My name is Sofia Brahimi. I am a Bullis Senior and a member of its Honors Humanities and Global Studies capstone program, led by Dr. Sarah Romine. My capstone documentary summarizes a project framework to encourage girls' participation in soccer as a vector to promote women's empowerment in the Arab world, the pilot project being in Egypt. This project has benefited from the precious guidance of Dr. Romine, as well as assistance from my capstone mentor, Ms. Kathleen Lloyd, which I am most thankful for. I can't help but give a shout out to my very own soccer team, which I hold dear. The Bullis Bulldogs varsity girls soccer team is we're the reigning champions of the ISLA League. This project has received input via interviews and from various key stakeholders, not least by the Honorable Senator Professor Mona Mokromabed of Egypt, information from the Egyptian and US governments, soccer institutions, global media, and bibliographical sources, as well as from nonprofit organizations, private sector stakeholders, and knowledgeable individuals. Unfortunately, the COVID-19 pandemic limited some interactions. The Arab world is dealing with a number of steep development challenges, including women's rights. Women were prominent in leading the Arab Spring. After that spring turned into a winter, with fundamentalists taking over the government, women found their status repressed like rarely before. But women were also among those most active to liberate themselves from this Islamist Muslim Brotherhood tyranny. Egypt is the Arab world's most populous country, with 25% of the Arab world's population, and is also an extremely poor country, with significant political, economic, and social challenges, be it a country with a 9,000-year-old rich culture and civilization. Soccer, in the Arab world in general, and Egypt specifically, is by far the most popular sport. In addition to my love of soccer, my family ties to Egypt, and my passion for women's empowerment, a very personal issue prompted me to embark on this specific project, and I am working on a long-term implementation project. Why this specific project? When I was a young competitive varsity and travel club soccer player, playing at high levels in the Premier Division Championship, my family and I used to visit my maternal relatives in Egypt in the summer, and I was thoroughly frustrated to be denied the right to participate in summer soccer camps just because I was a girl. All I could do was look on with frustration, as my male cousins trained. I vowed right there and then that, as soon as I could do something about it, I would, and this capstone project is a stepping stone for such action. Egypt has a conservative society, but Egypt is also experiencing a generational modernization led by youth aspirations to more freedom and opportunities to do better. The project framework aims to harness women's soccer as a way to promote and strengthen women's empowerment through all possible avenues. Defining a framework for girls to greater access to soccer based on existing best practices allows the design of a set of solutions that support greater women's empowerment in Egypt that is also adaptable to other developing countries. This project has benefited already from some validation, as some of the activities planned have already started occurring on the ground, proving these ideas were both valid and feasible. President El-Sisi of Egypt, inspired by the extraordinary United States women's national team at the 2019 Women's FIFA World Cup, publicly questioned why a country such as Egypt, with a vibrant and plentiful young population, was unable to field a girls' team for these past few years, even as the men's team, massively supported by the state, had produced dismal results. During his October 1, 2020 speech to the United Nations General Assembly, Egyptian President Sisi reported that Egypt has taken steady steps towards achieving women's equality and empowerment. The government is hence supportive, reflecting trends in wider society. FIFA has also included women's soccer as part of its global drive to develop the sport. Egyptian soccer superstar Mohamed Salah of Liverpool has expressed support for his female counterparts. The U.S. Department of State has been involved in sports and soccer diplomacy, with prominent U.S. players and coaches holding training workshops throughout the Arab world, including Egypt. An Empower Women's Soccer Academy was created recently by a prominent female player who was training to become a national team coach, while soccer star Sarah Essam now plays in England's top league. So progress is everywhere. This project was all about identifying the weaknesses leading to setbacks for women's soccer and identifying areas of progress in order to encourage the development of girls' soccer participation in ways that enhance women's empowerment. The findings of the framework that define its main thrusts are the following. First, the importance of creating a grassroots campaign for greater women's soccer participation in Egyptian society at all levels, building on the popularity of soccer, the aspirations of women, and the buy-in of key stakeholders, including the Egyptian government, soccer stakeholders in the public and private sectors, civil society and women's empowerment organizations, with the participation of both women and men, not least with links to global organizations such as FIFA, as well as the global media. Second, mobilizing government authorities to create critical infrastructure and leverage the support of the Egyptian president. Third, mobilizing existing soccer stakeholders, including soccer stars. Fourth, creating a cottage industry around women's soccer with the mobilization of major clubs and sponsors, complete with investments in soccer academies for recreational, competitive, and travel soccer leagues. Fifth, creating a girls' varsity soccer program in all public and private schools, as well as in universities. Sixth, harnessing international cooperation opportunities with the U.S. women's soccer and other international partners, including the FIFA Forward program that allocates $6 million of additional soccer funding to every national soccer entity. The fall 2020 national girls soccer tryouts, since the new efforts began, in spite of COVID-19, were the largest ever held in Egypt's history. Seventh, greater participation of women in decision-making positions, such as what the Egyptian Football Association is attempting to do belatedly. In conclusion of this project, one aspect of women's empowerment is the level of participation in society. So participation in soccer, Egypt and the Arab world's favorite sport, can be an important tool to promote greater women's empowerment, instilling greater self-confidence, individual and team skills in young girls, widening their horizons and enhancing their soft skills to lead more successful lives. This project framework is a vision and dream that has started materializing in Egypt, but where so much more still needs to be done and will be achieved, as is happening across the Arab world.